Hello, this is Mrs. Dowell, and I would like to talk with you about an important quadratic topic. Okay, remember a quadratic is any polynomial that is in the form ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to y, or is equal to 0, or whatever it is that you're doing. You can set it equal to. If you're solving, then you would set it equal to 0, and you would solve for the values of x that make that equation equal to 0. But another quadratic type is what is commonly referred to as vertex form. Plus k. This is x minus h squared plus k. All right, so there's a couple of things that you need to be aware of as far as both of these are concerned. They both have an a. This a value is the same as this a value, okay? A determines, and I should start writing over here because this will apply across the board. A determines if the parabola opens up or down. This is true for both forms. If A is positive, then your parabola will open up. It will look like this. If A is negative, then your parabola will open down like this. So parabolas that open up have minimums at the vertex. Again, this is true for both forms. Parabolas that open down have maximums at the vertex. So as you can tell, the vertex is critically important when you are dealing with quadratic types of equations. What constitutes a quadratic? The x squared is the x term, the x variable, the highest power is 2. Okay? That is what constitutes a quadratic. So since the vertex is of critical importance to us, I want to be able to quickly find the vertex if it is in standard form, like it is over here on the left, or if it is in HK form, like it is over here on the right. So this is standard quadratic, and this is HK quadratic, or vertex form. Now there is a process that you can use in order to go from standard into HK form known as completing the square. That is covered in a different video. But I want to give you a quick way to find the vertex for both of these types. We have a handy little formula here, minus b over 2a. This will give us the x coordinate of the vertex. Okay, so I'm going to write this as x coordinate. So whatever your b value is, take the opposite of that, multiply by 2a, 2 times a, you go minus b divided by 2a. You're going to get a number. Whenever you get that number in order to find the y coordinate of the vertex, you would simply plug in the x. If you have a quadratic type that is in vertex form, it's so much easier to recognize what the vertex is because we know that the vertex is h and k. There is a small trick that I do need to point out to you. In the formula, this minus right here tends to trick people constantly. In other words, in the standard formula, there is a negative. That means that if you wanted to know what h was, you must pay very careful attention to what the actual value is. If you had x minus 3, h would be 3. If you had x plus 3, h would be negative 3. And you may be saying, why is that? Because x minus, that's part of the formula, negative 3. Okay. So this is something that's really, I need to drive this message home. It's very, very important to pay very close attention to what you have here in this, in the parabola. In the parentheses. This is the fastest way to find the ordered pairs for the vertex. Please remember that the minimum or the maximum occurs at the vertex and in fact occurs at the y coordinate of the vertex. So in this case, when it is in HK form, this value right here will tell you where your minimum or your maximum is at. That's how high up the parabola goes or how low down the parabola dips. Over here, in order to get your y coordinate, you have to solve for the x coordinate first, then plug it into the equation in order to solve for the y coordinate. That is how you will be able to determine where the minimum or the maximum applies.